The next functionality is receipting. Receipting can be done as individual or as bulk. We'll start with individual receipting. When you're receipting, you go to the menu and you click extra receipt list, this one here. Right. When you are here, you then can process a single receipt. Right. Let's go back to our students. The main student we're using was Victor. Yeah, it was Victor and Daniel. Right. So to receipt for Victor, you click there and then you say Victor Nika. The Victor we're using is this one called Victor Nika. And then, especially for government schools, they normally have their own receipt books that are required to be used. You can enter a manual receipt. For example, let's say 56001, right? If you do not require that, you can actually produce a receipt and print them directly from the system. But if you want to actually also have the manual receipt actually recorded, you can do it the way I've just done now. Then you specify the date of the receipt. Let's assume this was 19 September. And then on the receipt, the student, for example, um, the student pays, say, $40 for STC, and then pays $15 for pass levy, right? And then he is paying for this particular term and into the USB bank account, right? We are done. So you select the student, you put the manual receipt number from the receipt book if you have it, you enter the amount. For example, if you paid STV levy on its own, you enter 40. If there was no pass levy, you leave it blank, it will be zero. Right. Once you are done, you click save. Right. It has done that receipt. You can go to the next student. Just like that. Okay. Let's say, for example, the next student. So you see it cleared. After it saved, it cleared everything. Here it's now zero. It's ready for you to put the next student. Our other student we're using for mainly is Daniel Kumalo, 3 East, right? 56002. We're assuming there's a sequence we're actually using on the manual receipt. Then again here, let's say for example, he paid $50 for bus levy, for STC, and he paid $15 for bus levy, and then again it's for the third term. Then you can click save. So you can continue entering receipts as you go like that. Okay. Now let's go to one of the students. Let's go to Daniel. For example, we come to Daniel and we check here. Um, and we go under SDA account, you're going to see that then there's a receipt that went through, which had a proportion of $50 being a SDA levy and $15 being bus levy. Right. We're able to view the statement right now directly from here by clicking view statement. This will show the ordinary statement, which is the statement of the student. Right? This will basically show the information of his address and the transactions that have actually happened into this account. So we first billed a bill of $50, then another one of $15. The balance came to 65. Then we entered a balance brought forward from last term of $40, which was supposed to have entered previously. Anyway, that was 105. That was 40. It came to $105. Then we also did that practicals bill for 10, it came to 115. Then we made a payment for $50. That brought the balance down to 65, and made another payment of $15. It brought it down to 50. Right. So um, you can actually send an email, and you can also send an SMS balance. And for example, to demonstrate that, let me use a phone number which I have. I'll use this student here, Victor. So you would go into Victor, right? And then remember, we've got the SDA and the tuition. These are actually separate accounts that are maintained by the system. So right now we're using the SDA one. If I go here and I view this particular statement, I can send an SMS balance. It will send that, right? Now this will produce something similar to this, basically showing that, dear Victor's parents, the school fees balance is it on that. In this case, it's a negative balance. If owing, please arrange payment. Right. Now, that statement, we're going to show how you can actually send for the entire class and for the entire school when you come to reporting. Right. Now, the receipting we just did was for SDC, right? Let's say, remember right now we're logged in as SDC there. Now, the other tab I'm logged in as an SSF. If I go into tuition, and right now I'm in Daniel Kumalo's account, there's nothing that has happened in SSF in relation to the student, right? So what I'll start by doing a bill. I'll do a single bill so that it's faster, and then I'll say Daniel Kumalo, right? Let's say his balance brought forward was 15. This for SSF was 15, and this balance brought forward came from second term, and it was 4. Let's put also under balance brought forward. Then I'll say add and quickly process this particular bill. Right. So now, if I come under tuition, I'm going to see that I've got a balance brought forward of what? Of $15. Now, I want to do a receipt for what? For Daniel Kumalo under SSF. Remember, I'm not under what? SDA. If I go into SDA, I'm going to see totally different items here. But because I'm in tuition, there's only one item, which is the what? The balance brought forward. So now, I then do the receipt. It's Daniel Kumalo. Right, let's assume the receipt numbers are now on 10,001, and I'm running this one today. Now, you're going to see that the revenue earners for tuition, which have been set up, are you've got tuition fees, boarding, and all that, isn't it? Let's say he only pays tuition. Let's say it was 45, and then maybe practicals are also, he pays $10, right? And then it's for third term, and then you can click save. Now, if you go back to the student, we are going to see there's now that balance brought forward was 15, and then the payments that they've done. So there's a clear demarcation between the SDA and the tuition. I can view again the statement specifically for the tuition, the SSF. As you can see, it shows a totally different element. And I can also send an SMS balance there. Um, I can also view under what? Under SDA. Okay. So there's a clear demarcation of the revenues that are actually being earned. Later on, you will realize when we do the income statements and so forth and cash flows, that demarcation is also there. making it very simple for the school to do anything. Right. Sometimes, due to the multi-currency system we sometimes have, you may need to receipt, for example, in Zimbabwe or Zig or in Zig. So let's say, for example, you have, so to do that, you choose this one, which is an extra receipt Zim dollar. Then we're using Daniel Kumalo. And then let's say it's a different receipt book, say 23001, and then the date. Um, Maybe the payment was done on the 4th of November, and a payment of $15 was done. Then you enter the Zimbabwean dollar component. Let's say, for example, the equivalent was 25,000, right? Then you specify the term, the revenue. Let's put this one under practicals, and it was Zig, and it's going to this to the Zig bank account. Then you would say save. The processed receipt will then show under the student's account as payment receipt with the number, and it was a Zim dollar payment, which was 250,000 for practicals. Okay, right. Then you have other types of receipting for students who have left the school, or then you have bulk receipting. We'll look at this later on and how to do with unknown receipts. On receipting for now, the one thing which you might also want to see is you can search for a receipt, and it's going to show you that receipt 56002 was for payment for STC levy, and another one for bus levy.